Welcome to the Explainer. Let's get right into it. Does your sales pipeline ever feel, I don't know, more like a clogged drain than a powerful flowing river? If that sounds familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down a modern sales playbook that's all about keeping that pipeline full so you can crush your quotas.
So here's the plan. We'll kick things off by figuring out why so many pipelines get clogged up. Then we'll get into the right mindset for modern prospecting. After that, it's all tactics. We're talking business acumen, a killer prospecting cadence, and the absolute best way to get meetings. And stick around, because at the end, I'll give you a simple formula to tie it all together for success. All right, first things first, let's really dig into this clogged pipeline problem. I mean, it's a huge issue, right? It's what stops so many otherwise great salespeople from hitting their numbers. And a big part of it is that the old ways, well, they just don't cut it anymore. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Take a really honest look. Is it Victoria Falls or is it clogged gutters? For way too many folks in sales, it's definitely not a powerful, steady flow. It feels more like a constant, frustrating battle. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some numbers. So if you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. I mean, check this out. A staggering 69% of B2B salespeople say they don't have enough leads to make quota. Just let that sink in for a second. That's almost 7 out of every 10 reps starting the quarter already playing catch-up. That's insane. Okay, so why is this happening? Why is it getting so much harder? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. First, you're not selling to just one person anymore. No way. You're trying to convince a whole committee, sometimes 6 to 10 different people. And get this, even the buyers, the people with the money, say the process is extremely complex or difficult. And here's the real kicker. With all that complexity, sales reps are spending less than 40% of their time actually selling. That's the one thing that fills the pipeline. So what's the takeaway here? It's pretty simple, actually. You can't solve a modern problem with an old school mindset. It's just not going to work. The entire approach has to change. And that change, it all starts with how you think about connecting with people in the first place. And this right here, this is the perfect way to visualize that shift. We have to move away from that old push model. You know the one, the megaphone, interruption-based, shout your message at everyone approach. The new game is all about the pull model. It's about connection. It's about having a real conversation. It's about being so interesting and valuable that the buyer actually wants to talk to you. And you know what? This quote really drives home the point that this change has to start with you. It's internal. Real long-term success comes when you stop seeing prospecting as this awful chore you have to get through and start embracing it as the job. It's not just part of the job. It is the job. It's the engine that drives your entire career. Okay, so with that new mindset in place, let's get into our first key. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about developing your business acumen so you can stop sounding like just another salesperson and start sounding like a trusted advisor they can't afford to ignore. But first, we have to get our definitions right, because this is a really critical distinction. Let's talk about a lead. A lead is, well, it's just someone who's shown a little bit of interest. Maybe they downloaded an ebook or clicked on your pricing page. They're on your radar, sure, but that's pretty much it. Now, a prospect, that's a different beast entirely. A prospect is someone you've actually vetted, you've qualified them, you've done your homework, and you know they fit your ideal customer profile. See the difference? It's not just a random name on a list anymore. It's a potential partner who has a real problem that you can actually solve. So, the big question is, how do you turn all those low-quality leads into high-value prospects? Well, you build up your business acumen. You have to understand their world inside and out. And these 7 questions right here are your roadmap. When you can answer things like, how do they make money? And who actually runs the show? You can stop pitching your product and start having conversations about their biggest business problems. That's the game changer. All right, so you've got the business knowledge down. What's next? This brings us to key number 2. You have to execute with a disciplined, consistent outreach strategy. I'm telling you, random acts of prospecting, a call here, an email there, it just doesn't work in today's world. This is so much more than just making calls. Think of it like a choreographed dance designed for a really busy buyer. It means you have to block off time on your calendar that is absolutely non-negotiable. It means spending 15, 20 minutes researching every single person before you reach out. And it means following a sequence of 15 to 17 touches over a few weeks. That consistency is what separates the pros who provide value from the pests who just annoy people. Okay, we've covered the mindset, we've covered the process, we've built a solid foundation. Now let's talk about the Holy Grail, the single most powerful, most effective technique you can possibly use to fill your pipeline. I want you to forget everything you've ever been told about grinding through endless call lists, about how prospecting is just a brutal numbers game. Because the absolute best way, the ultimate goal of all your prospecting is to get introductions. And I'm being very specific with my words here, not referrals, introductions. There's a huge difference. A referral is just a name and a number. An introduction is a warm, personal handoff. It's a transfer of trust from someone they already know. And if you're wondering why this is so important, just look at the data. The numbers don't lie. A warm introduction can get you 2 to 3 times more appointments than cold calling. I mean, just think about that for a second. Think about all the time you'd save and how much better those conversations would be. The difference in your efficiency would be absolutely staggering. And you don't need some super complicated script to do this. Look at this example. It's simple, it's direct. You're not just saying, hey, who do you know? You're asking for their help, putting them in your shoes. It completely reframes the question and turns them into a partner who's helping you find your next big opportunity. All right, last piece of the puzzle. Let's bring everything we've talked about together into a simple formula. This is what makes sure you're not just working harder, but that every single thing you do is actually pushing you closer to your goal. I love this quote from Lee Iacocca because it just sums everything up perfectly. We can no longer continue to work harder at the wrong things. That's it right there. Success isn't about making more dials. It's about making sure that every dial, every email, every single action you take is the right one. So here it is, your success formula. It's all about working backwards from your goal. It's simple, really. Once you know your income goal, what your average sale is worth, and what your personal conversion ratios are, how many calls to get a meeting, how many meetings to get a sale, you can calculate the exact, manageable number of things you need to do every single day to win. It takes all the guesswork out of it. So, as we wrap this up, it all comes down to one question for you. Are you going to keep doing what you've been doing, just trying to run harder at the same old activities? Or are you ready to adopt this playbook and truly transform your pipeline by finally working smarter? Really, the choice is yours.